Hello. I am tired and I've had way too much caffeine today. I'm also way behind on all of my classes and I didn't do a single thing this weekend except sleep and I'm still exhausted. You know what that means? It's time for us to talk about burnout. Oh yeah, it's getting to that point in the semester for me, which means I'm gonna share my pain with the rest of you. That's how this works. Okay, so the main thing to think about when you think about burnout is, the tiredness that comes with it, the want to do anything besides what you actually have to do. Um, it's terrible. We all know it. We've all felt it. But there aren't a lot of good ways to combat it. That's what we're gonna go over today. Is there a dog?
Hello. Hi, Bubba's, come on.
This is Nick.
Say hi, Nicky.
Yeah. He's gonna be here while we talk about burnout until he's bad.
Yes, he's so bad.
Okay, so when we talk about burnout, the bad thing is that you will face it during your time at college. That's just a thing that you're gonna have to do. And really, I wish you didn't have to. But the fact is that we need to get you ready for it.
So, Nicky and I are going to teach you some tips and tricks. Isn't that right? But not tweets. We don't have no tweets down here. No Nicky-boo-boo, no tweets.
Okay, so the main thing to think about with burnout is you want to get it before it's there. You know how when you have a cold, you want to get vitamin C in you before it actually hits you, and that way it's not as bad. Well, this is the same thing, okay? So when we talk about it, we're trying to get you away from some of the pitfalls that college students fall into, which are a lot, as you can imagine, because college students just want to survive. So the main thing is don't survive on coffee. Also drink soda. No, I'm just kidding. You want to step away from any caffeine that you might be reliant on, and you need to get sleep, okay? Easier said than done, I realize. But if anything, replace a coffee with water, okay? That'll be a lot easier for you. Another thing you can do is to relieve as much stress as possible. So okay, I'll let you out. There we go. Thank you for your co-star, Nick. I'll at you so you get credit on the video. So we want to relieve as much stress as possible. Now, what happens when you're in college is that, there's a lot of little stuff that builds up, right? And, it's really hard to just take an assignment and go with it and just get it done. But here's the thing. Your first thing on your agenda should be whatever is causing you the most stress, okay? So if you have an essay that's due next week and you're stressing over that, then try and get at least some of that done so you have some of that stress relieved before you try to do anything else. And try and do that a little bit each day. That'll keep you from being too stressed out because you're already working on what's giving you stress. Another way is to exercise to release tension. My suggestion is that you try yoga or like running or Pilates, something that you can just do when you're really super stressed and it might help you out. Okay, and yoga is really good for that. Get some sunshine. I think we went over this in the mental health, but sunshine gives you vitamin D. Vitamin D makes you happy. That's literally what it's there for. So use it. Use it to your advantage. Whenever it's nice outside, get outside. There's so many days in college when I just did not take that advice, and I regret it now. It's really easy to take a laptop or take a textbook outside. Just don't get it dirty. This one seems counterintuitive for a student. Don't do homework all the time. What happens when people get burnt out is because they aren't taking the breaks that they need. Okay? So if you work and work and work and work and work, you have nothing that's giving you energy back. Okay? So think of like introverts and extroverts. Extroverts get energy by interacting with other people. Introverts get energy by interacting with themselves. Neither of those is a homework vert, okay? The introvert might be able to do it more, but in the end, you need your free time. And really, like, let's say this is your energy. You're working, you're working, you're working, you're working. That energy is going to stay out here, and that's your burnout level. And then it can just get worse and worse and worse. We're doing things that will keep you above that level and help you rise a little bit at a time. Okay? Another thing is don't spend all your time in a dorm room. One thing that I did a lot was studying in the library, not in your dorm room, especially if it's safe, COVID-free. Definitely go there, even if it's just, you don't have to interact with people. If you're an introvert, don't, but you can just sit there and be with people and not talk to anyone. That's the beauty of the library. Continue doing or pick up a hobby that you love. So I took up knitting. And I know that's a grandma thing, but here's the thing. It's a repetitive movement with my hands, which is shown to relieve stress. And in the end, I get a blanket, which relieves stress. And it's productive, which makes me happy, okay? And, I make things like this as a blanket. That makes me happy, okay? So it doesn't have to be knitting. It can be whatever the hell you want. It's your hobby. It's not mine. But just pick up something. Just go to classes. The gym will have classes. The library will have classes. Clubs will have classes. Just pick a hobby that you've always been interested in. See if there's a club for it. If you don't know how to do it, just go to the club. There will be somebody who wants to teach you it. Trust me. Okay. The next thing seems counterintuitive for my introverts, but you need to talk to people. I'm a history major, right? And I can easily get buried in my textbooks and my documents and all of that. Well, what happens when you start doing that is you spend your day with dead people. That's never good for your mental health, okay? So maybe step away, interact with other people. When you start to feel the first signs of burnout, these are the tips for that. So this was how to avoid burnout, the above tips that we already went over. These tips now are once you feel the first signs of it, okay? You go out with your friends. And I'm not talking on campus. No, God, no. Get off campus. Campus is just a stress ball. You can feel it, especially in final times. There's just this bubble of stress surrounding campus. And then once you get out of it, It's a whole new world. It's the extent of my singing career, but you know. So go out to eat. You can watch some videos, either cute or funny. We're not watching like serial killer videos. You may like serial killer videos. Don't watch serial killer videos during this time. You're going for something that has like a really low mental load. So something that you can pay half attention and still grasp easily. You know, these are like the America's Funniest Home Videos, or Funny Cat videos, or you can watch something on Disney Channel. You know, go watch an episode of iCarly, or Kim Possible, or Zach and Cody, whatever it is, and just use something that you don't really have to think about, but it's still a feel-good type of thing. This next one is an absolute lifesaver. And if there's anything that you should jot down, I want you to jot down this. This is called the 1 minute meltdown. And here's what you do. You need a friend, and you need a phone with a timer on it. Easy peasy. You usually have both of those with you at all times when you're on campus. And you set the timer for 1 minute. You give it to your friend. For that 1 minute, you get to scream and complain and whine and stress over anything. Whatever you want. Whatever your little heart needs to get off its chest. That's what it gets off its chest. The other person's job is to, 1, keep track of the time. 2, say things like, oh no, you deserve better than that. And oh my gosh. And no. And gosh, oh girl. And, you know, you definitely deserve that A. How dare he? Stuff like that. Hype the girl up, or boy. And then after that minute is done, you're done. You don't get to complain anymore. Shut your mouth. Get busy. Now, what can happen is your friend can ask you questions about whatever you complained about. So if you say in passing, I'm so stressed about this test, and then you move on to something else, they can go, hey, tell me about this test that you talked about. And, you know, you can complain about, you know, your boyfriend, family troubles, whatever it is, and that'll relieve some of the stress because you've talked to somebody about what you're stressing over. So the last thing about the 1 minute breakdown is that if you do it and you're done, you have to ask your friend if they need a chance to do it. Okay, so it's that back and forth. We're respecting people who respect us. We're giving them what we needed and seeing if they need it as well. Okay? So we've kind of been through how to avoid it, what to do when you first feel the first signs of burnout, and now we're going to go into what to do once you have the burnout. And you'll know it. You'll know the feeling. You'll see the decrease in productivity. You'll feel it. Okay? So how do you snap yourself out of it? Here is one way. And it's not always like a go-to. It's not always something that works, but it does give you the opportunity to light your fire. Okay? Go do something that shows the value in your major and what you're learning about. So, you know, I said I was a history major. I would go to a history museum, or I would go see a historical document. what would happen is I'd get to see some really cool artifacts that aren't textbooks, and I'd be like, oh yeah, this is why I like history. I'm also an education major. So I could go through and say, hey, I want to go visit a school. The teachers would, of course, say yes, because that's what they do. And I could go into a classroom and be like, oh yeah, educational psychology might be god awful, but this is what I'll get with it. I'll get to be in a classroom with them, and that'll light a fire. Here's the thing about if it doesn't fix your burnout. It may be a way to signify that is not the major you should be going into. And the fact that you are already that burnt out on something that's supposed to give you passion, that says a lot about your passion about it, really. It's time to find something else, maybe, or at least start thinking about it, okay? And I don't mean that to crush any dreams. I say that because I care, because you don't want to be burnt out on something and then start a career in that field. You'll hold that career for 30 years. You don't want that, okay? If you are burnt out, there is another thing that you can do, and you're probably going to think, why is Miss Reed, a teacher, telling me to do this? And that is because I know the benefit of it, and I know that sometimes kids just need a break. And I know that sometimes it's just not a good mental health day, and it's okay to do this. What I want you to do is I want you to take a mental health day. I'm all for you going to class. Love it, obviously, and you should definitely go to class as much as possible. But sometimes you need this mental break. You need to just say, I'm not doing it today. And if you find yourself in need of these, and you'll know when you do, then you can do it. So here's the things that you need to do to make sure that you're doing a mental break day the correct way, the way that won't get you in trouble for taking that mental health break, number one. And number two, will rejuvenate you so you're ready to go within the next school day. Here it is. What you do during your mental health day is you lay around in bed, you binge watch Netflix, you try and catch up on some homework, but not a lot. Nothing too mentally challenging, basically. You can go for a hike. You can go to a coffee shop and read a book. You can do something relaxing, take a bath, go visit a friend, go visit your mom, whatever it is. You should try to do this on a day when your teachers will be fine with you skipping. Some teachers are perfectly fine with you skipping. Others won't be very fond of it. And you'll figure that out usually by syllabus day. You'll figure out what teachers are going to be respectful of your mental health and what teachers are not. So try and do it on a day when you have teachers that will be respectful of your mental health. That way you won't be in any trouble. And then, as with any time you miss a class for any reason, you email your teachers to tell them that you won't be there and why you won't be there. And the thing with emailing your professors about a mental health day is that you don't have to lie, okay? I have had professors say that a kid had 6 grandmothers die by the end of the semester. 6 grandmothers. Not grandparents, grandmothers. Professors just see through that. Teachers see through it. I don't know how you all don't realize this. How you think you're gonna get away with lying to us. We just tell us the truth, okay? Usually we'll respect you and respect the fact that you were honest with us. So I'm going to read you an email that a professor sent me when I sent one of those emails. When I sent a, hey, I need a mental health email. It says, hi, Eleanor. Thanks for letting me know, and yes, mental health breaks are most certainly acceptable. It is good to be aware of when they are needed. See you again next week, Dr. Blah, blah, blah. He understood it, and a lot of professors will. So take advantage of that. Not in like a bad way, but just when you need it, take advantage of it, okay? Let's say you don't want to take a mental health break. You're just like, I need to push through it. Miss Reed, give me some tips on how to push through it. Fine, but I do them under duress, okay? But I also do them because I've done it as well. So you gotta do what you gotta do. So if you need to work while you are burnt out, at the very least, go to an off-campus coffee shop and try and get your work done there. A different scenery will do you so much good. Different people will do you so much good. A different atmosphere that's not on campus will do you so much good. Take advantage of that whenever you can. Okay? So that's it for burnout. I want you to think about these things. I want you to kind of keep these in mind when you really need them. And I want you to keep your notes somewhere where you know you will have them. Okay? So when you really need these in college, you can get those notes out and you can say, okay, Miss Reed told me to do this. Okay? Have a good day.